Good morning, everyone. I'd first off like to welcome veterans, family, friends, and distinguished guests. My name is John Mayers. I'm a defense fellow with Congressman Darrell Issa. I've been with his team for about 6 months at California's 50th Congressional District. I'm also a veteran, recently separated from the Air Force, and as a new member of the veteran community, it is an absolute honor to be here today in celebration of your service. As I'm sure you're well aware, it has been 50 years following the Vietnam conflict. There is indeed no better time to recognize their service. Each of these honorable veterans gave of themselves to serve, and when called, put their lives on the line. So this is our day to express our appreciation and recognition as a community. Here today, helping Congressman Issa thank our veterans, we have El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells, additionally, we have El Cajon Council members Phil Ortiz and Steve Gobble. We can hold off the clapping till the end here. We have a handful. So Colonel John Black, Army Lieutenant Colonel Brian Mulhern, and the Southern California recruiting team. El Cajon Police Captain Royal Bates. Fire Chief Steve Swaney, are you in the crowd? He couldn't make it. Air Force Vietnam veteran and American Legion Post 303 Commander Hal Hunter. Vietnam veteran Marine Lieutenant Colonel David York of the Military Officers Association of America. So we're going to start off with the presentation of colors. We have Boy Scout Troop 384 from Santee, as well as Troop 654 from Poway. And CJ Reed, you can go ahead and lead us in that.
Color guard attention. Will everyone in the audience please rise for the presentation of the colors? Color guard, forward march. Will everyone in the audience please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard, post the colors. Color guard, honor your colors. Color guard, return to your ranks. Audience, please be seated.
Now we have special invocation from Mike Shelby.
Thank you. They got me up here quickly today. Invocation. Well, this is going to be one heck of an invocation, folks. I don't know if you've had an invocation by a rabbi before, but I'm the same Jew who saved that cross on Mount Soledad. So, hey, remember, we fought hard for that. We fought hard for a lot of things, and I thank God every day. And people like Congressman Darrell Issa and everybody else in this room, this is the third day I've been here as a Vietnam veteran with my Vietnam veteran brethren out here, and I appreciate so much, Congressman Issa, what you're doing, what everybody else is doing. We never got this kind of response when we came back from Vietnam, did we? But I got to tell you something, it's never too late, right? Right? It's never too late. Never too late to be appreciated. I got to tell you, you know, when we got back from Vietnam, we were told we lost the war, we were losing the war. Walter Cronkite came back after the Tet 1 offensive, the biggest defeat the North Vietnamese or any army ever had, and said, we can't win this war. That was the biggest fake news and the beginning of fake news in my lifetime. So let me tell my fellow Vietnam veterans, number one, we not only won the war, we didn't lose a gunfight in Vietnam. Well, wherever we lost it back here in this country. And we have stood our ground in America and fought for the rights of every American. Vietnam vets can be proud of the fact, in spite of what we went through and how we were treated, we stood up for a country that we loved, that we fought for because we loved this country. And we made sure, when we were fighting for our POWs and MIAs, an issue that never reached the front burner, we made sure that we not only took care of the POWs, the MIAs, the unaccounted for in Vietnam, but the unaccounted for from the Korean War, over 8,000. The unaccounted for from World War II, over 80,000. So that flag, that POW flag that flies under the American flag at the White House and every other federal building, that's all because of us Vietnam veterans making sure that our fellow soldiers were all accounted for, making sure that part of the military lexicon is now and has been since our return, that we will never leave an American behind. That's us. We did that. I also want to say that as a Vietnam vet, one of my proudest moments was not just going back to the wall every year, but being at the wall at its dedication. It was an amazing, amazing event. And years later, seeing the work that people like Diane Carlson Evans, my friend, who was a nurse who spearheaded the fight to get the Women's Memorial. I think in 1993 on Veterans Day, when we dedicated that Women's Memorial, a memorial to all the women that's there were donut dollies, there were women going over there, but those nurses, and if anybody was ever spent any time in a field hospital, you've just got to appreciate and love those nurses. One of the most amazing days. That's us. That's Vietnam veterans that have done that. So we not only lost the war, but we have set a precedent in this country for things that were never here before. And I want to end this with a story about how I ride back to the wall every Memorial Day. I ride from San Diego to Washington, D.C. There's a lot of people that do it. We have over 500,000 bikers at the Pentagon parking lot on Memorial Day every single year. It's Rolling to Remember now, and it's sponsored by the AMVETS. And for the last 14 years, my friend Robert Patrick has ridden with me. Robert was the T-1000 in the Terminator. Everybody might know him. And he came back from a USO tour and wanted to ride with me 14 years ago, and he's ridden with me every year since. And when we get to Washington, the first thing we do is we go to Walter Reed. And I've been to Balboa and Walter Reed, and you go in there. And I go in there with a celebrity like Robert Patrick, you walk in there, and I always remember what my dad always told me. He was a World War II vet. And he said, son, I just want to, every time I complained about how things were, how tough it was living in the projects, growing up the way we did, he said, I cried because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. And I get to Walter Reed. I remember the first time I went in there with Robert. And here are these American heroes, the real heroes of America. Not the athletes, these are the heroes that give our life meaning and give us our freedom. And they've lost their limbs. They've lost arms and legs. And I thought to myself, after talking to them for a minute, the first things every one of these men and women, all they want to do is get back to their unit, get back into the fight for our country and for our freedom. I've never met heroes like that. And I kept thinking to my dad, I've never been so inspired until I met these heroes that have lost their limbs. And they look at Robert Patrick and then they look at me wearing my Vietnam vet stuff and they go, wow, you're a Vietnam vet. Thank you. Thank you for your, I'd never heard that coming back. And I hear it from these American heroes. Those who come back from Desert Storm, from Iraq, from Afghanistan. And they look at me and thank me. They thank us, every one of us. And they say to me things like, we stand on your shoulders. Thank you for setting the example. Thank you for what you did. And I think to myself, if we could have inspired that kind of patriotism, this kind of reaction from the heroes, the military, the service members who've come back so wounded. And we could have inspired that. We did something so right in our lifetimes. And I just wanted to make sure I get that point across. And and I know there's a God in heaven, and that God in heaven has blessed this country and blessed our generation, because the greatest of every generation are those who are willing to go and be a warrior for the freedom of everybody else in their generation. And that's who you are, that's who we are. And thank you again, and God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And that is my invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Shelby. And now, American Legion Post 303 Commander Hal Hunter and Lieutenant Colonel York for the Missing Man POW MIA table presentation.
As you entered the area this morning, you may have noticed a small table on the left here of the stage. This is our way of symbolizing that members are missing, that our brothers, they are our brothers, they're POW MIA to the rest of you. They are unable to be with us this morning, and tonight, or today, we're remembering them in their incarceration. The table is set for one, symbolizing the fragility of a prisoner against the oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call. The single rose on the table in the vase reminds us of the families and loved ones and comrades in arms to keep the faith while waiting their return. The red ribbon is tied prominently on the vase and reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the lapelled breasts of thousands who bear witness to their unyielding determination and demand for proper accounting of our missing. A slice of lemon is on the plate to remind us of the bitter faith. The salt upon the bread plate is symbolic of the tears of the families. The glass inverted because they cannot toast with us this afternoon. Remember all who have served with them and called them comrades, who depend on their might and relied on them, for surely they have not forgotten you. Thank you.
I'd like to add something. I want to tell you a personal story. I was a company commander of Lima 3-4 in 1969. We had a Lance Corporal Wesley Jackson who went MIA. And I've asked Darrell Isa's staff to help me find the remains of Lance Corporal. He's now a gunnery sergeant. You probably know if you're MIA, they promote you while you're MIA. So they promoted him to gunny, and we're trying to find his remains on LZ Russell. Is there any Marines in the house? Any other Marines? Okay. I'd like to talk to you later on. Thank you very much. God bless America.
Let us observe a moment of silence in honor of those who are not here with us today. Thank you. And now, to introduce the guests of honor, Mayor Bill Wells.
It's so good to be here with all of you today. As I was listening to people speak, it became very clear to me that the wounds that were suffered from returning veterans after the Vietnam War were deep, and there were people that hurt them. And it was sometimes very difficult to reintegrate back into society. I intellectually understood that as a young man, but I didn't really understand it until my son came back from Afghanistan, and I saw the struggles that he and his friends went through, trying to reintegrate back into society and make sense of a world that was outside of the military and outside of war. There have always been times when people did not understand the great gift that this country has given them, the gift of freedom, the gift of the ability to pursue happiness. And it's important that we don't give in to that. And I just want to say, as the mayor of El Cajon, before I introduce the congressman, that the city of El Cajon remembers your service. We're glad you're here. We welcome you. You're welcome anytime. We love you. We love America. And we're really glad to see you today. So, now for a special introduction. Before serving in Congress, Congressman Darrell Issa built a manufacturing business in San Marcos and Vista. And before he was an entrepreneur, he served in the Army as a captain. This service well prepared him with essential skills: how to adapt, how to overcome challenges, how to think strategically, and the importance of preparation, teamwork, leadership, commitment, courage, and service to others. These are just a few of the skills the veterans of this room, no doubt, also have gained in their years of military service. These traits our families, businesses, churches, VSOs, communities, and schools all benefit from, and veterans give a lifetime of leadership. Today on Capitol Hill, Congressman Issa is proud to represent Southern California. He does so with a robust, active, and reserve military community. Our region is blessed to have multiple military facilities, including Camp Pendleton Marine Base, Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, MCRD, Naval Base Coronado, North Island Naval Complex, Point Loma Naval Complex, March Air Force Base, and more throughout Southern California. The 50th Congressional District is home to more than 30,000 veterans. We're thankful to all our honorable service members who serve today and those that have previously answered their nation's call to serve. And without further ado, please welcome Army Vietnam-era veteran, Congressman Darrell Issa.
Bill, thank you. Thanks for your support, and thanks for being somebody who has supported our men and women in uniform. And I think when you talk about people coming home, I'm going to, first of all, remind everyone this is your day, not anyone else's day. This is the day where, long overdue, we thank you for the service you did at a time in which you weren't being thanked, at least in the press. And a little bit like New York Mike Shelby said, there were two worlds when our folks, when we all came home from Germany, from Korea, from Vietnam, or from Fort Dix, wherever you were. And I'd like to just share very briefly, and then I want to get to the pinning, a little bit of the two worlds that, for those who are younger and weren't part of it and are seeing dad or grandpa here today getting a pin, or grandma, let me just tell you a little bit of the world that I saw. 1970, when I enlisted, I was a private. I couldn't afford, well, I could afford what 99.50 gives you. So one of the things that I did was I hitchhiked a lot. By the way, that was one of the first orders that I didn't obey, apparently, because you were supposed to not hitchhike, and if you did, not do it in uniform. But if you had your uniform on, or you probably showed that very short haircut, and many of you will remember this, people picked you up. And the people that picked you up were salesmen or whatever. They were typically Korea and World War II vets. And they went out of their way, if you weren't a long hair, to pick you up. Because there were plenty of long hairs hitchhiking in those days, in the 60s and 70s. But I saw a world, not what Richard Nixon would have called the silent majority. I saw all those people who reached out and thanked me for being a private E-nothing and then an E1 and then a PF or E2 and then a PFC, and went out of their way to thank me regularly. I saw it in a lot of places. Of course, I also entered active duty in 1970, so I saw May 4th at Kent State. I saw the next year, so it was actually at EOD school, next year when they basically descended on Washington and had a near riot again on the celebration of May 4th, 1971. We saw, essentially the anti-war movement, but we also saw a generation that silently did support us. And I want to reflect on that only because there was a generation that was there for us even while there was a generation telling us we were wrong. Because most of the generation that was telling us we were wrong was us. It was our generation. It was the 20-something, 30-something year old. It wasn't the World War II vets saying that somehow your service wasn't honorable. And I want to say that because it's so important. Then when our generation grew up, you all and people like you drowned out for the next generation that discussion about how military people didn't serve honorably or war wasn't just. Our generation didn't just do what the previous generation did, which was silently, quietly support men and women in uniform. Our generation has said, no, you thank a veteran. You thank that man or woman that answered the call, that enlisted or went on active duty or into the Guard, that went to Afghanistan or went to Iraq, or went to Iraq and Afghanistan, or went to Iraq, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Afghanistan, as they've been doing for 20 years. And so I want to thank you here today, and I want you to thank yourselves for not just living through a time in which a big part of the population told us that somehow our service wasn't honorable, but then being the generation that made sure that no other generation had to deal with that. That the men and women today know you've got their back. And even if you don't approve of a strategy for global activities, you still support them. And you see it when you board an aircraft, and you see it everywhere. You see it in retail facilities. You see it in the pride of these Army personnel, each with a different Army uniform here today. So I could tell you a lot of war stories, a few of them true. None of them actually involve me, but I'd rather just share that and then have us all celebrate today. Not just get your pin, but challenge all of you to take that pin and find somebody else who deserves it and get them in touch with us, and we will pin them, whether they come to us or we go to them or if they want it mailed. And lastly, there'll be a few people here today that are accepting on behalf of others that couldn't be here. And I want to thank you especially for your sacrifices, for the care you've given to that person when they came home or living with the fact that they didn't come home. And issue the same statement. If you know a widow of a Vietnam-era veteran or a child that would like one of these pins presented, they've earned it too with the absence of that person. So that's the only challenge I give you here today, is to reach out and add to it. Because I'll tell you, your government's pissing away enough money that these pins are not a lot of money to spend on thanking you. And I know you're not supposed to use that word anymore, but it actually is short for put in some sugar. I just want you to know. So with that, John, I think it's time for you to, oh, wait a second. I'm going to do one other thing, because we always have a group, and I'd like to honor them. We know most of us are Vietnam-era veterans, but for all those who served prior to Vietnam, to World War II and Korea, if you can, would you please stand or raise your hand? Generation I talked about picking me up hitchhiking. By the way, I do these things so I'm in a room with a few people at least a little older than me. It's really hard these days. And secondly, for those who came after the Vietnam era, for Desert Storm, or for the series of Iraqi and Afghanistans, those who served from 1990 on, please rise. And then the crowd pleaser, all those who served during the Vietnam era, please rise. Thank you, and with that, I will now turn it over to the boss. Here you go, John.
And now for today's special recognition of the Vietnam era veterans. The lapel pins given to each veteran today are provided by the United States of America Vietnam War Commemoration, created by Congress and the Department of Defense as a national effort in light of the Vietnam War's 50th anniversary. The purpose is to thank and honor veterans of the Vietnam War, including personnel who were held as prisoners of war or listed as missing in action. I will now read an excerpt from the 2017 Presidential Proclamation for commemorating this time in our history. We salute our brave Vietnam veterans who, in service to our nation in defense of liberty, fought gallantly against the spread of communism and defended the freedom of the Vietnamese people. 50 years ago, in 1967, nearly 500,000 American troops served in South Vietnam, along with approximately 850,000 troops of our allies. During this commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, we embrace our responsibility to help our Vietnam veterans and their families heal from the heavy toll of war. We remember the more than 58,000 whose names are memorialized on the black granite wall on our nation's capital for having borne the heaviest cost of war. We also pay tribute to the brave patriots who suffered as prisoners of war. We stand steadfast in our commitment not to rest until we account for the 1,253 heroes who have not yet returned to American soil. With conviction, our nation pledges our enduring respect, our continuing care, and our everlasting commitment to all Vietnam veterans. Thank you.
Mr. Sam Hernandez, United States Army.
Not just Army, he's CAV. I'm just jealous I was first infantry. I wanted to be CAV.
Okay, right here, gentlemen. Thank you.
Mr. Wild Bill Cody, United States Navy. In honor of Mr. Conrad Emmerich, United States Navy radioman.
In this camera, please. Thank you.
Mr. Armando Lujan, United States Army.
Gentlemen, right here in this
I
camera.
want you to meet one of the last draftees.
Thank you.
Class of '72.
Mr. Daniel McGeorge, United States Army.
Here comes gentlemen, right here. Fantastic. Thank you.
Mr. John Bellows, United States Army.
You want to come up a little closer?
He's a thinker.
I'm going to arm wrestle, but he's going to win.
Mr. Richard Eismo, United States Navy. Mr. Thomas Carmody, United States Navy.
All right, gentlemen, in this camera.
Mr. Paul Barden, United States Navy.
Yes. Gentlemen.
Mr. Jose Alfredo Gonzalez, United States Marine Corps.
All right, gentlemen, in this camera. Sorry. I'll get to you next time.
Mr. Tim Hollis, United States Army.
Gentlemen.
Mr. Mike Fuentes, United States Army.
Yeah, we got it covered. That was one of my tasks I forgot to do, was to put on that. I won't.
Gentlemen.
Mr. Donald DeLathauer, United States Navy.
Cops, gentlemen.
Mr. Walter Colette, United States Army.
That's whatever. Everybody remembers the term, 23 and a wake up.
Mr. James McGuff, United States Navy. Mr. Jack Sardisco, United States Air Force. Chief Larry Petrie, United States Navy. Mr. Roy Gallagher, United States Air Force dog handler.
Gentlemen, right here, this camera, right here. Thank you. If you focus it right, you'll see K9 there too.
Mr. James Tapio, United States Navy. Chief Thomas Deming, United States Navy. Mr. Marco Gonzalez, United States Army Airborne.
Right here. We're comparing notes on what you get paid for jump pay.
Only got paid $78 a month.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Joe Mullick, United States Navy. Mr. Donald Mercurio, United States Navy. Mr. Michael Zaspal, United States Navy.
Hold, one more, looking for focus, got it. Thank you. I don't look that good in focus.
Lieutenant June McKenzie, United States Army nurse. Mr. Rick Nelson, United States Navy corpsman.
This is the way the young guys do it now.
No, we don't.
I know, but it gets it out of the picture, it's so great, and then you look cool too. Well, thanks, use them again, please. Thank you.
Mr. Carl Silva, United States Air Force. Stand by on the applause for this. Mr. John Rodriguez, United States Air Force, and in honor of his father, Mr. Vasco Rodriguez, United States Army. Mr. Chuck Noel, United States Navy.
Gentlemen, right here. Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Charles Ross, United States Army. Mr. Charles Uhl, United States Air Force. Chief Orlando Suarez, United States Navy Corpsman.
What are you doing now, youngster? Yeah. Yeah, third time's a charm. Thank you.
Gentlemen, a smile. Hello.
Oh.
Please. Thank you, sir.
He said he didn't get you smiling.
Thank you.
Chief Ronald White, United States Navy.
What were you eating? What are you doing now? Every day Saturday. I think I'm done Monday. My church. Wizzy, I think you got a team then trying to get your picture. You know? Oh, they're for the next one?
Chief Roger Hayes, United States Navy.
So which one of you gets the pin? I'm gonna give him blood wings. What do you think? You know what blood wings are? No, I don't. That's where you don't use the back, you just push it into the skin. It stinks. They don't allow those anymore. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Here it comes, here it comes. I'm gonna slow down and look at it. Got it. Thank you. Here it comes.
Mr. Larry White, United States Army. Mr. Lonnie Horner, United States Army.
Gentlemen, discount. You.
HM3. HM3, Renee Rokes, United States Navy.
Newport, I'll tell you, that's kind of an expensive place to sail. That's what I'm doing. T-shirts don't work. Powerboat. Oh, think about.
In honor of her brother and Silver Star recipient, George Wilson, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Michael Sherman, United States Air Force.
Gentlemen. Thank you.
Senior Chief Robert Taylor, United States Navy.
Well, they pin them all break. You don't take them away from home.
Private First Class Raymond Mounts, United States Army. Mr. Joseph Zuniga, United States Navy. Mr. Ricardo Ames Miramontes, United States Army. Ms. Vicky Grieshaber, on behalf of her uncle and Purple Heart recipient, Mr. Ronald Morgan, United States Army. Mr. Donald Blankenship, Purple Heart recipient and Brown Water United States Navy riverboats.
Yeah, you guys are pretty rare. I don't think a lot of you came home. Thanks for being up close.
Mr. George Caruana, United States Air Force Rescue.
Gentlemen, right here. Great smiles. Thank you. You got it.
Retired NC-1 First Class, Mr. Raphael Russell, United States Navy.
Gentlemen, right out here. Fantastic. Thank you.
Sergeant Daniel Fitchhorn, United States Army.
I want you to know that everyone in this crowd knows what an 8214 is and is glad they got one.
Ms. Penny Sickles, accepting for her husband, Mr. Henry Sickles, United States Air Force. FMF Corpsman, Mr. Robert L. Ireland, United States Navy. Mr. Doug Northington, United States Marine Corps. Chief Master Sergeant Charles Seiktich, United States Air Force.
Gentlemen, right here. Right here. Thank you.
Commander J. Belts, call sign Bubba, United States Navy.
From the south. I know, but after Forrest Gump, that's the best call sign. Okay, I'll come hear that one.
Mr. Kevin Huff, United States Navy.
Thank you for allowing us.
Mr. Larry Tapman, United States Navy. Mr. Richard Cobb, United States Navy sonarman. Ms. Judy Dreiss, receiving in honor of her husband, Walter Dreiss Jr., United States Army Intelligence. Mr. Daniel Garcia, United States Navy Tin Can Sailor.
That young woman's your wife?
Miss Christine Garcia, United States Navy.
They met in the military.
And I've got the three of you now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, here's the question. Didn't she hear about those Navy men and still married them?
Yeah, 50 years in April. Congratulations.
Mr. Paul Sider, United States Navy. Mr. Kenneth Zorro, United States Navy.
No. Just like I was certain that we evacuated Vietnam.
Right here, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Mr. Craig Young, United States Air Force medic. Ms. Sandra Woodhouse, United States Army 3rd Army Headquarters Communications. Mr. Gerald Waterhouse, United States Marine Corps Field Artillery Radio Operator.
Where they were landing. You know, being at the takeoff site is better than landing, you know. He was explaining to me that he was where the artillery landed, not where it took off. For all of you that know that forward observing is not just observing, it's ducking.
Mr. Wesley Sherman, United States Army. Sergeant Rick Moore, United States Air Force.
Here it comes, right here in this camera.
Mr. Richard Fisher, United States Navy. Mr. Ray Ridlon, United States Army and a Gold Star Father.
Better than a lot of things.
Mr. Bill Davies, United States Navy aviator. Mr. Richard Hall, United States Marine Corps. Mr. John Bolwig, United States Navy.
Oh, well, if your daughter sent it to you, it's okay. Although I don't know if people aren't wearing shirts the way they used to either.
Mr. Russell Stolick, United States Navy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Larry Zinter, United States Navy. Mr. Leroy Purdue, United States Navy Naval Gunship, 50 cal machine gunner, and a Purple Heart and Bronze Star recipient.
Gentlemen?
That's your wife.
The best half.
You want to get in the picture?
Hand me your phone, and I'll take the picture. Is it alive? Hold. My camera, please. Thank you.
My camera, please. He can say it like
I'm going to take one more, please. One more. One more, please. Thank you.
Mr. David Cottingham, United States Army Dragoons, and a Bronze Star recipient.
By the way, if you guys remember hurry, hurry, and wait, we're practicing that, aren't we?
Right here, gentlemen. Right here.
I had to ask what it. Yeah. And I was Catherine, I should have known.
Mr. Bill Nunnick, United States Navy.
I just went through there, I took a tour there at South Bend and went into the locker room, saw the new lockers and all that good stuff, and it's trying to show you. I was a captain before I went in there.
Gentlemen? In this camera, I'm going to pop one more, please.
If you ever get the chance, go, it's cool, you go on the field. That's cool.
Hey, sir, congratulations.
Mr. Bill Matella, United States Navy Ghost Squadron.
Okay, I'm always off by one.
Sir.
Mr. Steve Haley, Sr., United States Navy.
This camera, gentlemen. Thank you.
Got it?
I'm video.
Well, I'm not waiting for the ending. Thank you, sir.
Colonel Roger Bisson, B-52 flight surgeon and pilot, United States Air Force.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you.
your service.
Mr. Larry Taggart, United States Army, 24th Infantry Division in the Armored. Mr. Ronald Ruano, United States Marine Corps.
Wait a second. Okay.
Mr. Norman Croto, United States Air Force, Airborne Communications Technician.
You didn't jump out of the first airplane.
One more, gentlemen, right here in this camera. Here it comes. Right here, big smile. Thank you, sir.
Mr. James Condon, United States Navy.
Right here.
Thank you. Thanks for your service.
Mr. Guy McElroy, United States Navy, River Assault Squadron 1.
Well, I would have been a taker, not a giver.
Mr. Ted Kagan, United States Army.
Gentlemen. Thank you.
Mr. Jim Walker, United States Navy, Mobile Riverine Force.
Sir.
Got it?
Mr. Ken Snyder, United States Army, 101st Airborne, and Platoon Sniper.
I don't think he needs a knife.
Oh, okay. Well, he doesn't. Unless you ask him to whisper, he really doesn't.
More tornadoes.
Mr. Bill Hammock,
Yeah.
United States Army, Mechanized Infantry, and Purple Heart recipient.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Hey, sir.
Skyline.
Mr. J. Renard, United States Navy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize where this one should go.
Did you talk to us about Deborah?
David and Hal, not yet. If you want to say bye.
Take your camera and try to do this with you. Oh, I'm just gonna, yeah, that's fine. I won't go any further. Here it comes, gentlemen, here it comes. Yes, we're tethered.
For professional courtesy.
Petty Officer, 3rd Class, Paul H. Sands, United States Navy Radarman. Lieutenant Commander Dennis Breslin, United States Navy pilot. Mr. Richard Wade, United States Navy combat photographer.
Here it comes. You.
He said he doesn't do still anymore, just does motion.
Hey, sir.
Representing, not posthumously in honor of, Patrick Joseph Byrne, Lieutenant Commander in the United States Navy and a Mustang. Lieutenant Richard Bogert, United States Navy Seabees.
No, but I did. I just punctured myself once.
Lieutenant Commander Richard Becker, United States Navy Submarine Force.
That was honestly my fault, because we'd call and come over there, but just.
Mr. Thomas Burke, United States Marine Corps, whose father served in World War II and Korea. Chief Richard Satch Sersasimo, United States Navy. Mr. Charles Crandall, United States Army Infantry.
Yeah.
Sergeant Rick Saldi, United States Army 82nd Airborne.
This guy's got every branch and every family member, just in case you wonder what we're talking about. Thanks for that, sir. Okay, it's my honor. All right, I'll call. You bet.
Thank you for your service.
It's my honor.
Sir, thanks, sir.
All right. We have a few special guests that we're also going to pin. First up is Commander Hal Hunter. Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, you know the routine.
How about shaking hands too? I thank you very much for that.
I call it arm wrestling, actually. Or He-Man.
It's great to meet you.
Next up is Lieutenant Colonel David York of MOA.
And a Marine.
Colonel.
And finally, one of our own. Again, this is Deborah Crosby, and we have a lot written on this card. So we just want to take a moment to recognize this. Her father, Lieutenant Commander Frederick Beard Crosby, Navy aviator, was killed in action in 1965. In 50 years as she went, not knowing what happened to her father, and he was eventually found buried with full honors. But we just wanted to especially recognize Deborah and just say we're proud to have you as part of the team. And if you could please let the
Right here, Deborah, right here. Thank you.
And thank you so much. This concludes the ceremony. Thank you, Congressman.